This story comes from northern Alberta, where a strange surveyor causes a ruckus on the road. Years ago, I got a job up in the oil patch. I wasn't familiar with life up there, having come from the flat prairies of the south. So on the first day I was there, I went out for beers with some of the veteran guys, and the topic turned to things I should know about the area itself, like what to watch out for, especially since my position meant I'd be doing a lot of driving out and about. Their first advice was like, watch out for deer, moose, or even bear in the road. Guys had been killed that way too, like hitting a big moose head on or swerving off-road to try to avoid some big animals that can come darting out of the tree line real fast. Other suggestions like carry bear spray, always have a set of tire chains if the snow gets really bad up there. One of the guys at the table shouts, yeah, and don't doink the local women, and everyone laughed dumb laughs. I don't even know what that meant. Then one of the guys put a beer down and says, oh, if you see Smiley the surveyor trying to distract you, well, just ignore him. Oh man, I think this is like another inside joke, I guessed. But the other guys are like nodding in agreement, as if they all know this story. And another guy says like, no, seriously, man, if you see him, like you can give him a quick wave, but just don't stare at him too long. And then you're good to go. So like at first I think this is some kind of joke thing on the new guy. You know, like one of those urban legend BS stories the locals tell outsiders, like in the prairies we'd make up some story about cow tipping, but nobody actually did it, but we'd just say it to see if the city folks would actually believe it. The thing is, they didn't seem to be laughing about this Smiley the surveyor story, so it's kind of bothering me for a few days. And so much so that I mentioned it to one of the shop mechanics a few days later, like an older dude, and he didn't strike me as like a BSer type at all. No, seriously, there is a Smiley, he says, like as we stand around his workbench. If you ever cut through the old logging road, like just a few clicks before the town boundary, you'll be driving along and sometimes you see a guy in like land surveyor gear. You know, the big blue overalls, yellow vest, white hard hat, you know. If he's there, you'll always see him standing at the side of the road just before the bend. He'll be smiling and waving at you from the minute he sees you coming too. Okay, and he does what? Like throw rocks at people, or like what's Smiley's deal? Oh, no, nothing. He'll just smile and wave at you as you go by. The old mechanic pauses, like he's not sure how to put his thoughts together. But he tells me, it's like he's a ghost, but he's not like a ghost. He's like two-dimensional. It's hard to explain, but no matter where you are, he's facing you, right? Well, okay, think of it like this way. Like you're watching someone on a TV screen, right? Okay, Smiley is like always facing you. It's like you can't see the back ass of the guy, no matter what, because he's always facing you. I guess you could say he's like a optical illusion. Okay, so probably because I looked more confused than ever, the old guy sums it up just saying, well, whatever it is, the only thing you need to know is don't stare at him and you won't have any problems. And with that, he got back under the truck he was working on. So it's around a month later, and by then I'd gotten to know the roads and the forests in the area pretty good. But this stupid Smiley, the frickin' surveyor guy thing, is always in the back of my mind. And one day at the gas station, I even overheard someone say to another, you know what they say, you can never see the back of Smiley. Okay, so that kind of did it for me. Like, I was going to go find out what this frickin' Smiley goof was all about. Now, there was a good dump of snow that day, but the weather was fairly sunny. So I decided to take the old logging road and try to spot this waving, smiling guy, this two-dimensional figure people kept talking about. I turn onto the old road. Okay, so like it's thick with trees on each side, but sure enough, as I get far enough down the road, I can see a guy down there in a surveyor outfit. Like the bright yellow vest, and he's way down there. And indeed, he has seen me coming and is already facing me, and he is waving. I slowed it down, but not just because of the snowy conditions, though it did feel a little slippery that day, but because I intended to figure out what's the deal with this guy and this illusion. So I'm approaching, and it really does seem like he's facing me, like he's standing square to my eyesight. And holy frig, as I get closer, yeah, it's like he isn't turning his physical body, but he's still facing me. And so even as I get closer, I realize like he's smiling away, like this big dumb neighborly grin on his face, and this kind of like casual farmer wave. Okay, I don't slow down too much since I want to look like a normal casual guy just driving by. But damn it, it is effing weird. But soon I'm passing right by him, and it's like he's a sign, like a billboard cutout image, and yet he isn't, like he's a real living person. And just as I pass him, I give him like a quick nod and a wave, and he gives like an extra grin and a little extra oomph to the wave to acknowledge mine. Now, just as I'm getting past him, I glance into the passenger side rearview mirror, and there's his reflection, like as if he's facing the mirror itself. It's like we're not going around him or past him. He's just still the same front 2D dimension. It's crazy, and I can't believe it. And I turn my head to look out the cab's rear window, and I'm staring at this like freaking illusion that's still facing me even as I'm driving. I woke up in the ambulance. The bend in the road. I'd been staring at Smiley out the back window, and I friggin' drove straight off the road into a tree and KO'd myself. My knee got wrecked pretty bad in the accident as well. Oil patch jobs require the able-bodied, so as you can imagine, that was my last day on the job. I moved back down south to the family farm, and I've never been up north again. But I can tell you this. If you see a smiling surveyor on an old road and he's smiling and waving at you, just give him a quick nod, but never stare at Smiley.